Hello everyone, I'm Swati Sharma from Department of Management Studies. Today's topic for discussion is iron and steel industry. The iron and steel industries are among the most important industries in India. During 2014 through 2016, India was the third largest producer of raw steel. In 2019, India became the second largest steel producer in the world after China and the largest producer of steel iron in the world. Most of the public sector undertakings market their steel through the Steel Authority of India, which is known as SAIL. The Indian steel industry was delicensed and decontrolled in 1991 and 1992, respectively. India was the world's second largest steel producer, with production standing at 111.2 million tons in 2019. So if we see the market size of India's steel consumption, so India's finished steel consumption grew at a CAGR of 5.2% during fiscal year 16 to 20 to reach 100 million ton. And India's crude steel and finished steel production increased to 108.5 million ton and 101.303 million ton in fiscal year 20 respectively. If we talk about the export import of finished steel stood at 8.24 million ton and 6.69 million ton respectively in fiscal year 20. Now, if we see the advantage India, if we talk about the demand, India's finished steel consumption is anticipated to increase to 230 million ton by 2030 from 98.71 million ton in 2018-19. Basically, demand would be supported by growth in the domestic market. Steel per capita consumption in India is expected to increase to 160 kilogram by 2030 and 31. If we talk about the investment part, the industry is witnessing a consolidation of players, which has led to investment by entities from other sectors. The ongoing consolidation also presents an opportunity to global players to enter the Indian market. Then policy support. National steel policy was implemented to encourage the industry to reach global benchmarks. Government introduced steel scrap recycling policy as it is aimed to reduce the import. India was the world's second largest producer of crude steel, up from the eighth spot in 2003 with 111.2 million ton by 2019. Easy availability of low cost manpower and presence of abundant iron ore reserves make India competitive in the global setup. Now, there are few problems faced by the steel industry in India. So, first is capital. Basically, iron and steel industry requires large capital investments, so which a developing country like India cannot afford. So many of the public sector integrated steel plants have been established with the help of foreign aid. Then lack of technology. Throughout the 1960s and up to the oil crisis in mid 1970s, Indian steel industry was characterized by a high degree of technological efficiency. So this technology was mainly from abroad, but during the following 2 decades after the oil crisis, steep hike in energy cost and the escalation of cost of other inputs reduced the margin of profit of the steel plants. So this resulted in a lower level of investment in technological development. Consequently, the industry lost its technology edge and is now way behind the advanced countries in this regard. So material value productivity in India is still very low. Then low productivity. The per capita labor productivity in India is 90 to 100 tons, which is one of the lowest in the world. So the labor productivity in Japan, Korea, and other major steel industry production countries is about 600 to 700 tons per man per year. So we are at very low production level. So therefore, there is an urgent need to increase the productivity, which requires retaining and redevelopment of the labor force. Then inefficiency of public sector units. Most of the public sector units are plagued by inefficiency caused by heavy investment on social overheads, poor labor relations, inefficient management, underutilization of capacity. So this improper functioning of the steel plants results in heavy losses. Then next point is low potential utilization. The potential utilization in iron and steel is very low. Rarely the potential utilization exceeds 80%. For example, like Durgapur steel plant utilizes only 50% of its potential due to lockout, strikes, scarcity, and all. Heavy demand, even at low per capita consumption rate, demand for iron and steel is increasing with each passing day, and large quantities of iron and steel are to be imported for meeting the demands. So the production has to be increased to save precious foreign exchange. Then shortage of metallurgical coal. Although India has huge deposits of high-grade iron ore, coal reserves, especially high-grade cooking coal for smelting iron, are limited. So many steel plants are forced to import metallurgical coal. Inferior quality of products, lack of like modern technology, obviously, and the capital input and weak infrastructure leads to the process of steel making, which is more time-consuming, expensive, and inferior variety of goods. So such a situation forces us to import better quality steel from abroad. So thus there is an urgent need to improve the situation and to take the country out of this particular position. So these are the problems which is faced by the steel and iron industry of India. So thank you for this topic.